Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of More Money. I'm here with Maria Wolf, who expanded her money mindset so much during the Manifest 10K course, and I wanted her to come share with you. So welcome, Maria. I'm so glad you're here. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you. It's amazing. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, amazing.
Good. And that brings me to my next question. I always like to get in touch with people like this. What makes you amazing? What's awesome about you?
I think the thing that is awesome about me, the thing that I really love about myself is the thing that unites everybody who does your course, actually, that I'm a person who I want to be the best I possibly can, and I want to keep learning stuff and embracing new challenges, and it's that excitement that's the thing that I think makes me awesome, because I'm up for it. I'm up for learning new stuff and becoming a better me.
Yes. Yay. I love that. That's so true. And that is what unites most people that take the course, right? They want to take their life and who they are to that next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell us, let's start here. What was your money manifesting experience before you came into Manifest 10K?
Well, I think for me, it kind of like when I think when I emailed you, I talked about my experience when my kids were little. I was a single mum, and I used to say to them and anybody who asked, so I can do poor, meaning that I can make do on, we were on benefits, and I could make do on very little money, and I could, stretch it out, and I could look after us on not very much money. But it was only when I started listening to you on your podcast and did the course that I realized I was essentially telling the universe that I can do poor. Just give me some more of that. Just keep giving me poverty, because that's what I do, you really made me stop and think, what kind of message am I putting out here, And also, I mean, even this sounds awful. It was when you did the penny exercise, looking out and finding money everywhere. And I remember when the kids were little, I used to vacuum up, and there'd be all around their toy boxes, and occasionally there'd be a penny, and I used to just vacuum it up. I'd be like, I'm not picking that up. And so I'm telling the universe that, like you said, the universe doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1 million, £1 million. It's money is money. And so I'm telling the universe, oh, money's rubbish, I can just throw it away, I don't value it, and so that's kind of where I came from, really. And I also had a lot of that money's the root of all evil, which I know a lot of us have, and and I think I was kind of brought up in a Christian family, and we went to church a lot, and we were taught that Jesus lived in poverty, and that it was a kind of, to be spiritual, that you needed to a vow of poverty sort of thing. And changing my money mindset around that, to acknowledge that if I have money, it doesn't make me a bad person, That I can be a good person and have money. In fact, I can do a lot more good if I have a lot more money, So that's been the transition, really. A kind of a lot of checking myself all the time with that sort of thoughts,
Yeah. I love that. And I love, we're going to get to how you can do more good with more money and more time and a better money mindset, because you're just sharing some of the things that you get to do. So I definitely want to talk about that. But I want to highlight, I think that happens for a lot. That story, I can do poor. It wasn't serving you, but there probably was a time when it was like, it made it okay. And then we just get stuck in that, right? We're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like it was a way of telling, you know, and then graduate. So I love that you recognize that story and you were able to change that. What would you title?
Yeah.
So we titled your original money story, I Can Do Poor. What would you title your new money story?
Oh, maybe I Can Do Rich.
I love it.
Maybe that. I Can Do Wealthy. You know.
Oh, I love it. I Can Do Wealthy. Yeah. And that just feels like so much, like just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that kind of started, and I don't know whether this I can't remember what's come from what, you know, but when I started the course, I looked at my purse, my wallet, and I hadn't looked at it. I'd just been using it, and the lining was ripped on it where the money went in, and it kept kind of falling out into pennies, falling out, or the pounds falling out into my bag. And when I actually looked at it with new eyes, when I started doing the course, I realized I had to go shopping, and I went to a designer outlet store, and I chose a purse that is very grown up and very, and you know, my future self purse. It was that, you know, who would use a purse like this? Well, somebody who had a lot of money.
Yes.
And I love it. I get that purse out, and you know, friends will say, "That's a lovely purse." You know. I had to buy the purse to enable the money to come to it, because the other one was not. It was not good enough. It was not going to attract money at all. You know. So yeah, I enjoy all the practical tools like that came, you know, with the course. Yeah.
I love that. And like, how do you feel when you like put that purse on and go out?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, in England, purse is wallet.
So it's like a
It's not purse is handbag in America.
Yes,
isn't it? Yeah, no, it's wallet. It's what you know, where you put your money in. So,
okay.
Yeah. So it's my new wallet. So it's it goes in my bag. So it's just like every time I get it out to pay for something, then I'm reminded that I'm somebody who has money, and it's, you know, I can do wealthy. You know, I've got a purse for somebody who can do wealthy. Yeah.
Yes, I love that, and that's such a great example of something that is sort of small that you can do to like remind you every day, right? Like absolutely. I love it. Every time I pull it out, I'm reminded I can do wealthy. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I love it. So let's talk about, you just pulled out your notebook and you read your pre-work. Yeah. Will you share it with us, and then share what you were sharing before we started recording?
Yeah. So I've got this A4 notebook, which the same thing was like when I started the course, I had to have a brand new, lovely book, not a little scrapbook. It's a big book. It's A4. And on the first page, I've got my pre-work. Do you want me to read it all? It's like kind of a paragraph.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So we write the pre-work as if we've just finished it. So I've just finished the Manifest 10K course. It was so inspiring. I learned so much. I was so surprised. I was surprised that money flowed into my life so easily. I was excited that each day brought new surprises. And I can't believe how much this course has changed my life for the better and given me the opportunity to treat my family and show them how precious they are to me. And I just read through that, and I was like, oh my God, that's just true. That's where I am now. That's like, I wrote that, you know, in that hopeful way that we do before we start. But actually, all those things, it was inspiring. Money has flowed easily to me. And I was thinking, like the thing I wanted to do was to take my family on this holiday, which I didn't manage at that time. But then I've managed so many other things with them and managed to, you know, just treat them and look after them in different instances where I just, you know, like just tonight, my son was setting up my computer and he came over and I've just bought the pizza for us. And it's just, you know, those things that I just don't think. And when he came over, he said, "Oh, you said something about pizza." And I said, "Oh yeah, I've got cash." And he went, "All right, don't show off." and I just happened to have, because I was paid for a job I did this week, I happened to have a stack of cash, and that, you know, I celebrate that and get the notes out and enjoy them in that way. Which before I would be like, you know, there was something in my family, was something money was never spoken about. It was kind of like hidden away. And there's even the technique that the older family members, the men would use to hand you money, which is kind of this little backhanded thing, you know, don't just put that in your pocket, don't even look at it sort of thing, rather than here's a nice big £20 note, come and pay for the pizza, you know. So it's, kind of challenging all those, you know, don't feel uncomfortable around money, enjoy it, you know.
Yeah. And would you and so that's how you grew up, right? Was kind of like hiding, don't feel good. And you said, right, like the women weren't even supposed to maybe know what the men made.
No, the women would not ask the men what they, you know, like like my grandmother, my grandmother never worked. My grandfather was a postman, and he was paid his wages, and then he would give money to my grandmother, but she never knew how much he earned, and she would never have asked him. It was, money wasn't spoken of, and it was kind of within both sides of my parents' families, it was considered a little bit crass to talk about money, a little bit uncouth, you know. And I found that has been a real challenge to kind of move away from it. Like I say, they're entrenched, those beliefs, aren't they? And things like now within my business, people pay me in cash. And I don't know if I told you about this. I got this one lady who used to have her she used to have her own cafe, so people always paid her in cash, and when she pays me, she lays out the notes, she spreads them out on the table in this beautiful fan, and you know, it'll be like £200 or £300, but spread out in these notes, and she counts it out very slowly in front of me. And the last time she did that, I said to her, "I love the way that you do that." And she said, "Well, I do it so that you can see that I'm paying you the right amount, you know." Whereas my family would be like, you know, people give me the money and they say, "Oh, just check it to make sure it's right." And previously I would be like, "Oh, you know, I'm sure it's right, and not even look, and then after they're gone, quickly look through it, sort of thing. Whereas now I encourage myself to say, "Oh yeah, right, okay, so that's 24, you know, count it out," because, you know, there's nothing shameful about money, you know, and it's kind of, each of these things gets me closer to feeling more comfortable with it, just doing it that way.
I love it. Yeah. And really, I want to highlight for the people that are listening, like, we didn't go through, and I never asked you until after, like, how was money in your life, right? We didn't go through and we didn't try and fix all that. You just stepped into the course, and all of that started growing. And this woman shows up who, like, lays out the money for you, gives you this amazing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing with the course is it absolutely is that you get out, the same as so much in our lives, isn't it? You get out of it as much as you put in. So if you skip days, if you don't do the homework, if you don't, you know, if you do just a part of it, if you do it half-heartedly, you'll get a half-hearted reaction from it, or, you know, but if you throw yourself into it, then you know you're going to get more out of it. And that was definitely my experience. So I think the thing I want to be doing more of is scripting, because I think I have done that a little bit half-heartedly, and that I know you love scripting, and I think, do you do it daily?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I just need to start getting into that as part of my daily routine, because when I do it, I can just feel the energy, just zooms up in me, and
Yeah.
and it just, in fact, from the course, one of the scripting things I do is I script from my future self to Paula in America, who I
Uh-huh.
met on the Facebook group.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And because but we send each other snail mail. So she'll send me
Love
a
it.
postcard from her future self. I'll send her a postcard from my future self, or a letter. And amazing thing! The first letter she sent me, I opened it and I was all excited because it had an American stamp on. I opened it up and a dollar bill flew out, and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh my God, I'm getting money through the post! It's amazing!" And I've got that dollar bill up on my kitchen cupboard so that I look at it every day, and it's a lovely feeling that it's Paula's abundance has given to me. So it's
Yes.
another blessing really of doing the course, is having that for Paula's future self.
Yes, that's amazing. And so before the course, did you have people in your life who were into the law of attraction, or that you could talk to, or that were
No,
changing their lives? No, that's the answer. Most
no,
people, right? So what is that like to
yeah,
have a group where you can share whatever you want in terms of how money's showing up in your life, and to connect with people that are doing the same thing?
yeah. I think it's lovely, and I think it's lovely to read what's happening with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and to see other people's evidence, and it's that thing of or just to see how they're doing their homework. Pennies are showing up. I know that was a big thing for me, that I didn't how it happens with me with pennies is, if I forget about it, then I don't find pennies. It's like what we
Right.
filter on, we see more of, don't we? And so when I'd see people were finding pennies, then I'd be like, oh yeah, that's that thing I do. And I get so excited now when I find them, which from somebody who used to vacuum them up, it's gone
Right.
the complete other extreme of that. So I think the online, the Facebook group, it helps on so many levels, because it kind of also reminds me that, oh yeah, there's that thing that I because yeah, just that little discipline of being part of a group and somebody else is doing it. Oh well, I'll do it too. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So during the course, um, because you opened up your money mindset and you started becoming this person who can do wealthy, um,
Mm.
you were inspired to ask for something for your job from your job. Will you share that
Oh
story?
God, yeah, that was. I think that was like one of the best things that I got, for the gifts that I got from you. That I think it might have been on one of your podcasts, or definitely as part of the course, that you talk about valuing your time, valuing our time, and making room in our lives for our business, or for money to come in. Where if I'm asking for this new lifestyle, where's it gonna be? I had to look at
Mm-hmm.
my life, and I'm a nurse, an NHS nurse, and but I work in the community, so I was working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Oh, no, I think I was working a little bit later on the Monday, but and maybe finishing a little bit earlier on the Friday, but working every day. And so I looked at it, and all I did was cut my hours by 2.5 a week. So instead of working 37.5 hours, and I work 35 hours. But it now means that I front load the start of the week, so I work longer, slightly longer, not massively longer hours, for 3 days at the start of the week, and then I have every Friday off. And and it's like, so this is oh gosh, sorry, my phone is on, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. No worries.
How did that happen? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so it meant I can have a Friday off, and every week it gets a Thursday night, and that's the start of my weekend. And I do use the Friday for working on my business, but I also have, because I don't need to do my business for the full 8 hours of that day. It's great if I get one client in, or, you know, if I get two, it's amazing. But if I get one, it's great. But it means that I can see my granddaughter. I've got a baby granddaughter who was born in January.
Aww.
And I started this. She's adorable, obviously. Every granny's going to say that. So yeah, so I started just before Christmas. I stopped working the Friday, which was amazing because I love Christmas, so it gave me a little bit of extra time. But then my granddaughter was born in January, and then I can have her on a Friday, or I can just go and visit with her. And I've also got a friend who's not very well at the moment, so I can go for coffee with her and have that room for my business. But it's like, I think, had you not proposed that to me as something that I could do, then I wouldn't have had the confidence. And I think back now, it was kind of, so that when I went and did that, that was at the end of the of the 90 days. So I started in September, October, November, December. So yeah, it was the end of the 90 days. So at this point, I had this like complete confidence around my money mindset about what I needed to do. And so I just went to my managers and said, look, this is my plan. This is how I'd like to do it. Da, da, da. And it's, you know, ask and you'll receive. And they just kind of went, yeah, okay. And I was like, okay, right, okay. Right. So I want to start this next week with that. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, amazing. And it's worked out really well. It has, you know, I think it's quite helpful to have me there a bit later on the evenings that I'm there when it's a bit quieter and get a lot done and see other people that I wouldn't see in the daytime. So it's a win-win.
That's awesome. I love it. And did you have were you just as confident? Because you lowered your hours by 2.5, right? So that's like, that's some money, but were you confident? Like, no worries. I'll get that money made.
Oh, with the money. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you even think about it? Because you're so abundant.
With you. So yeah, I knew. I just knew it'd be okay, and it absolutely has been. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. So what are you, I mean, when you think about your little granddaughter, like, what do you know that you're teaching her just by who you're being with money that's different than what you learned? Just as she watches you.
It's funny because, like, she's a baby,
right?
So not so much with her, but I've got 3 grandsons.
Yes.
And the 5-year-old, when we were out, I spotted Penny, and I stopped him and I said to him, "Oh, look, it's a penny! Pick it up! It's so lucky! Oh, pop that in your pocket! Aren't you good at manifesting money? Look at you! Look how easily money flows to you!" So they're getting indoctrinated, yeah. And my granddaughter will get that as well. You know, it's a gift, isn't it? If a child is brought up believing that, yeah, you know, I attract money. And I was talking with a guy in work today, and he said, all the rich, wealthy people I've known have always had this belief that the world, that all the money in the world belongs to them, and they just need to get it back.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's an interesting belief. That sounds quite good. And he was sort of saying, oh, you know, sometimes it can make them over focus. But I think we talked about that sense of entitlement. You know, yeah, I am entitled to be wealthy. I am entitled to that money that is out there, that sense of entitlement that I never have, that I've had to kind of learn and develop, that hopefully my kids, my grandkids will start to think, yeah, there's no reason why I have to be poor. There, you know, there's enough money out there for me. And as your lady said last week, there's more than enough.
Yes. And how great of a, like, is it to know that they'll, like, grow up with more of that sense than sort of the way you grew up? Like, what a gift that you're giving them.
Yeah. But it's funny actually, because I was thinking, like some of the stuff, it's almost like I picked up the negative side of things from my
Right.
parents, but I didn't pick up the positive, because my mum always, to this day, and she's like 78 now, she'll stop and she'll pick up a penny. So maybe it was like a rebellion thing with me that maybe I didn't, so I don't know. But she is, when I was thinking about it, like we lived in Iceland, in
Uh-huh.
Reykjavik, when I was a teenager, and she used to stop and pick up the kroner, which had, you know, really not much value in those days at all. That
Yeah.
kroner, and the staff at work used to call her Kata Kroner, because Kata, her name. She used to stop and pick up the kroner all the time. They used to
Mm-hmm.
laugh about it, but my mum has never had to worry about money. She does, you know, she just does kind of manifest it, because she, you know, the glee with which she'd go, like I now do with my grandson, she would do with us.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, I don't know, I miss that, you know, when you go back
Yeah.
to it now, you know.
Yeah. It's funny how you can see it now, because I think that's true. I had the same experience. Like, I think I picked up some of those negative stories, but
Mm.
now once I've gotten past that and I'm like living, I can see, oh yeah, but my parents did this really well. My mom's an awesome
Yeah,
manifester, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. I love it. Awesome. And you actually, you actually were, did you start your business right around the time of starting Manifest 10K, or was it that you were about to quit your business and you?
No, yeah, I think I did the training for it in April, and then it was really, really slow taking
Uh-huh.
off. It was almost like I didn't know what to do to, you know, encourage it to, and then I think because, and I, it was a new business, and like I said, I'm an NHS nurse, and so I've never had to like sell my
Yeah.
skill. I've never, you know, we don't work, we don't, you know, we're not we don't, yeah, we're not paid like privately. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really difficult to be able to say this is how much I'm worth, and you know, so I kind of, the longer it went on, the more I kind of lost confidence around it. So I had kind of set it up, but it really, really took off with doing the course, to the extent that one of the things you suggested was getting some coaching.
Uh-huh.
And so I saw somebody I sort of know through something else was advertising reduced rate for her coaching. She was going to do a bit to raise some money for charity. So I booked in, but I booked in with her in December.
Uh-huh.
And when I actually got to see her, I said I was going to ask for coaching around my business, but actually it's doing really well at the moment. So I don't need help with my business, but I was looking for a bit of relationship coaching. So she did
Yes.
that instead. But that's, you know, that's how well the course worked, that I, you know, kind of thought, well, I don't think she's going to be able to add anything really.
Yeah.
And she did, I think she gave me a couple of little tips, but I think it's about that, like I say, it's getting into that mindset, and also just keeping it going. Because
Yes.
when we were talking about speaking recently, and I said, oh, it was probably a good thing that we didn't speak a month or so ago, because I'd had a bereavement, and I think just generally everything just ground to a halt in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and so I couldn't have that like enthusiasm and energy. And so I think that kind of, for me, it's okay to be able to realize it's not stopped, it's not gone away, it's just, you know, circumstances are such that I'm not manifesting in the same way. But then if I get back on it again and use the tools again, then
Uh-huh.
it starts coming back in. And it's funny, because I'll kind of think, oh, do you know what I need to do? I need to kind of start manifesting a bit more business. I was thinking, I went to Amsterdam with this is like completely crazy. I was asked to go to this meeting in Amsterdam, which was kind of about my my other job skills. I did it in my own time. And originally I thought, well, I'll just do it. You know, it's lovely to get invited to this meeting in Amsterdam and all expenses paid. And this is great. This is lovely. And then when they sent me the form through, the company that were asking me to go, there was a bit on it which said, and we'd like to be able to, you know, thank you with the, you know, by paying you substantial amount. And I was like, oh, well, that's nice. I wasn't just like, you know, just didn't even think about that. And it just flying in. And so it's, I'm going off target a bit. I can't remember what I was going to say about that. I've gone right off.
How you were saying how like you got off with bereavement, but then you got back into it.
Yeah. And so it's like when I was when I was in Amsterdam, I was thinking, you know, I need to kind of start thinking about, you know, manifesting a little bit more work, and, you know, getting a bit more money in, and, you know, and sort of paying a bit more attention to getting some work in. And that, and then I looked at my phone and somebody had just messaged me and said, oh, is it okay if I book in to see? And it's weird how it happens like that. It'll just be like, I think I need to do a little bit of manifesting, and then bam, it happens. But
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, and that's a testament to that momentum and everything that you created when you did the course.
Yeah.
I love it. And your new beliefs that like it can be that easy. Like, oh, I just need to put a little of attention and something will show up, and it does. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Very cool. So what advice would you give somebody who's doesn't know if they should do the course, or who's just starting out?
I think if you've got to the stage of looking into it, you probably you're the sort of person who should do the course, because people who are really good money manifestors wouldn't be looking at a course about manifesting money, because they're too busy manifesting money. I think fear stops us from doing a lot of things, and I think the pay later thing, people worry about, well, you know, if I manifest it, it's my money, you know, why should I give some to Cassie? And one of the things that came about for me was, I don't know if I told you this, that if I got time to do this.
Go ahead, yeah.
One of the first ladies I worked on, she was like my guinea pig, and we had a few sessions, and we didn't get the result that she would have liked, because you know, she was the first person I'd worked on, and I didn't realize, you know, that actually, you know, we needed to kind of for her it would have needed a lot more work than I thought. And afterwards I thought, oh, I'd like to be able to just pay her back what she's paid, but at the time I didn't have the money, and I thought I just want to be able to refund her, and then, you know, feel okay about the fact I used her as a guinea pig, the first person. And I was thinking about it. I thought, you know, that thing, well, I wonder if I've got any money in my, you know, my top drawer, in my knicker drawer sort of thing. And I went through, and there were a couple of purses in there, wallets.
Yes.
And one of them, I opened it up and I was like, what's this? And there was all these euros in there. And I haven't been to Europe, mainland Europe, for years. But I'd obviously, the last time I've been, my sister lives in Spain, the last time I've been over there, I'd, you know, bought too many euros and thought, oh, I'll be going back soon, and kept them in the envelope. And when I took them, and I managed to get the best rate which happened to be in the store which was nearest to where I worked, and it was the best rate that was going at the time. And I got something, you know, I got more than enough money to pay her back, and, you know, treat myself as well. And, you know, people might say, well, that was your own money. You had that money. How did Cassie help you manifest this money. But that money had sat in my drawer for like 5 years. And, I had been very, skint at times where I could have used that money, and it had just sat there. And I only thought to go looking for it because of doing this and thinking, hold on a minute, I'm a money manifester. There's bound to be some money in here somewhere. So yeah, it's that. So I think that might hold people back. And if nobody's going to force you to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you do it, go all in. That was one of your sayings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, go all in. And that was like, that's why I took the day off. I went all in with my business and decided, I'm going to drop down some hours. I'm going to take a day off, go all in. And if you're going to do the course, then do it, but just don't half do it. Just throw yourself into it and go all in, and just accept that anything that comes in wouldn't have happened unless you'd done the course.
I love that. And it's so often I love that you share that story, because so often it's money that was already there, right? I would say like a lot of time, like it's like, but you couldn't see it. All those things you said. I've never, 5 years I could have used it and it's never been there. And then you pull it out on the day where it's going to get the best rate and it's so easy. Yeah, I love it.
And because it was like extra money, it didn't hurt to give it back to the client. And it made me feel very abundant, which was one of my words, that, I wanted to feel abundant.
Yeah.
And so it made me feel abundant to be able to, give it to her. And they gave me a voucher for like a £15 shopping voucher or something as well on that day. So I gave her that as well. And I was like, oh, I'm so abundant. Yeah, it was just lovely.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, as we wrap up, share if someone's local, if you want to tell us about your business, how can they connect with you?
Oh, well, best to look on Facebook, or I do have a web page, but I think I'm in Bristol in England, so it's Wolf Aesthetics Clinic. So that my first name is Wolf, like the animal, no double E or F, double O's, or it's just like WOLF Aesthetics Clinic. And it's for ladies and gentlemen who want to pretty up their face a bit.
Fabulous. Well, thank you for being here and sharing your story. And everyone listening, if you haven't joined the party at manifest10k.com yet, go there and join, because Maria is proof that you can change your money story in a huge way and really just experience more of all that life has to offer. Thank you for being here, Maria.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn the step-by-step process to welcome more money into your life, go to manifest10k.com.